Welcome back to another episode of Cyberbytes, the podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Cooper, and today I'm joined by the founder and CEO of R6 Security, Zsolt Nemeth. From building encryption algorithms in the early 2000s to now tackling AI security with moving target defense, he's been ahead of the curve for decades. Let's dive into his journey and the future of proactive security.
All right, and we're on. Introducing
We're
Zsolt,
on.
CEO and founder of R6 Security. How are you, mate?
No, I'm doing fine. Joe.
Good.
Thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I'm just back from being married, so that was exciting.
Oh yeah. End of a chapter of your life, and
Exactly.
there's a new beginning, right?
Exactly, brother. Exactly. I feel like this podcast is like well overdue. We've obviously known each other a little while. I was trying to work out where we knew each other from, and I couldn't quite put point my finger on it. So I just sort of assumed we met at one of the many events that we both bump into each other at.
Yeah, probably was 2, 3 years ago. Yeah,
Exactly.
um, in San Francisco, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. But so look, thanks for coming on the show. Like I say, long overdue. I know you've got an incredible background, so I think like with all of my guests, I like to take it right back to where it all began and how you got into the industry. And I think where I when I was doing my research, what I found super interesting, it was like 20 years ago, not to confess your age or anything, but you were working on some AI stuff like 20 years ago, and it's obviously all the rage right now.
Well, yeah, there was not particularly AI, but more like I'm a mathematician by training, and out of our thesis, we created a company. I'm talking about 2006-ish, and there was nothing about computer science or anything like that, but more like designing algorithms for ciphers. So like fast symmetric ciphers. That's how it's called.
Hmm.
For basically infrastructures where the resources were limited, so mostly chips and uh, FPGAs and this kind of stuff. And then AI thing that was more like a research. As you know, I'm Hungarian, so I read everything from John von Neumann, and he was basically obsessed with, especially later in his life, about these thinking machines and obviously I wanted to be part of the story. So, but like here we are 20 years ago. That was just a research. And maybe we published a couple of stuff, but right now we are actually doing it.
Yeah, love it. What did you get up to after that sort of academic type?
So it was not academic. So we created a company, which was basically, obviously, we were young, so wanted to get rich quick, and flipped it and so on. And we thought, we're gonna retire at the age of 20 something, and then we ended up bootstrapping. So there was no investors or nothing back in those days. It wasn't even called a startup, and we ended up selling it to one of the biggest British defense contractors, and that's how I kind of got into cybersecurity. So I
Hmm.
I, I spent 8 months in Farnborough,
Hmm.
which was I mean,
Wow.
you're British, so
Yeah, yeah.
you know the space. So every geek's dream,
Yeah.
especially see the jets and everything else. So like yeah, that's what I did, but it got boring after a while. So ended up doing angel investing. And needless to say, I lost most of the money within the next couple of years. Um, but met with a lot of good people in the process. So that's when I kind of started building my network.
Hmm. Love it. What was you doing after when you started doing the angel investments? And I know some of them didn't work out. What then happened for you?
So yeah, I was living in kind of a tax haven, and it was also boring. And I figured out that I have to do something because money is running out. So convinced Fraunhofer, which is a research institute in Germany, to do a spin-off on mobile security. I'm talking
Okay.
about 2015, so about 10 years ago. So that was still big, or actually kind of an emerging then. And we inherited some of their customers like Deutsche Bank and blah, blah, blah. So it was not kind of ground up, but the product had to be kind of turned around. And we ended up building it. Again, I wanted to flip it, but we ended up doing it for 5 years. And in 2020, we sold it to basically Guard Square, which is a Belgian / Boston based mobile security company.
Got you. Is that when you then started thinking about R6?
Yes, about the company, yes, but I had the idea way before. So actually 2011, 2012, I worked with a professor at George Mason University. The name is Sood, Professor Sood. And we basically told everybody that IDS and IPS are not working, and if the attacker wants to get you, you're gonna get hacked no matter what. So what we can do is basically mitigate the consequences or minimize the consequences. So they called it intrusion tolerance back in those days. And I think in 2012 or 2013, that was when one of the pilot customers, DHS in the US, had rechristened it to moving target defense.
Yep.
Which basically, so what we did is you cannot really hit what you don't see or you can't find. And obviously back in those days, it was like super tedious to build something like this because, we had virtual machines, physical load balancers, and so on and so on. So yeah, it was not easy, not scalable. But then in 2021, I was more like 2021 because I took some time off. Realized that, hey, now we have Docker, now we have Kubernetes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the technology was okay, but the market was still too early. So, Kubernetes was mainstream by then, but people didn't use it for, let's say, business critical workloads. Right? It's just like machine learning and old school stuff, but no one put their CRM in there or SAP or whatever. But now it's probably by 2023 it's changed, and now it's actually booming. So yeah, in a sense we were too early. And then 2024 we did kind of the pivot towards AI workloads. So again, it's essentially the same pods, but like we started working on NVIDIA NIMS, which is now well known. Back in those days, it was basically just in the inception phase, and it's kind of part of how they orchestrate AI workloads. So how they deploy LLMs and so on and so on. That's their proprietary software for that.
Got you. So that explains the different products that you've got then, how it's sort of pivoted and evolved now with the AI in terms of the Phoenix product. So before we dive into that, can you essentially tell us a little bit more about R6 as a business and what you're up to?
Yeah, so so basically we are applying that old technology, moving target defense, or old school technology, moving target defense for mainly AI workloads or Kubernetes workloads. And the problem that we are attacking is that the whole cybersecurity market has two big issues. One is reactive. Basically, you need to watch and figure out who attacked you and why and when, and then you react. Proactive methods are quite rare, there are some preemptive methods, like they can tell you that you're going to be attacked in 10 days, and that's good. But the real proactive thing would mean like you focus on avoiding the attacks. So I don't know. I'm doing martial arts, so it's exactly like you do it like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Krav Maga, the same. So if you stand still, it's very easy to attack you. But if you keep moving, and if you keep moving randomly, and that's how you do it. And obviously, this is very. It sounds like a heresy for most of the DevOps engineers and some of the CISOs as well. I mean, the benefits are awesome because you're not gonna get hacked, right? But and you won't basically wake up one day to figure out like SolarWinds guys did, like, oh, by the way, the attackers are in our premises for like the last 2 years. But like in network security or even in endpoint security, um, the dogma here is like you don't drop something that actually works, right? And we deliberately drop workloads, bringing them back from the immutable state somewhere else. And it's pretty hard for them to understand. But obviously, now we have help because, Gartner and all the others started writing about this around 2023 as well. So we don't really need to prove ourselves as hard as we had to in 2022 or before.
Is that the AMTD category? Is that what Gartner are categorizing it as? Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And nowadays they basically mention this preemptive security. So basically you're getting inputs from other, let's say, feeds, again, preemptive feeds or something like that. And based on that, you basically keep your infrastructure moving. But according to, so like if I put the mathematician hat on, it has to be random as well, because you can use the most sophisticated endpoint security solutions. You won't be able to get to like 100% efficiency, and the sophisticated attackers can get through, not easily, but if they have the resources, so they can do that. And if there is no trigger, so if the moves are trigger based, that doesn't help you. But if you clean it up anyhow, because there's this old saying from Ronald Reagan, right? Trust and verify. Trust but verify. Now it's usually like zero trust is don't trust, just verify. And this is kind of the next step, is like assume that you were breached always.
Why is there so few like proactive security products?
Mainly the problem is it sounds easy to like play
Yeah.
the three-card Monty with the servers, but doing it is easy, but doing it in a way where basically you add how should I say, add the resiliency part in it. So without breaking things, that's not that easy. That's not that trivial. Um, and obviously the market is just getting there. So if you know for example, the Gartner hype cycle, or let's say EDR, we are just in the first phases basically. So AMTD is basically, I don't know, 2-3% market penetration. So we are in a sense too early. But on the other hand, it's a good timing because everybody is building infrastructure now. It's mostly AI. It's mostly GPU based. So getting to a scale, it's pretty easy for us.
Okay, cool. So have you got back to R6, have you got 3 different products or different things that you can do? Can you just run me through the different?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically the base product is kind of a Kubernetes operator that makes your Kubernetes deployment, whether in cloud or on-prem, like AMTD capable, meaning like constantly shifting. So before that it was something like CSPM, CNAP, whatever. That's for kind of the static infrastructure. So like you can check the infrastructure and you can do scans and blah blah blah. While what we do is basically the infrastructure is constantly moving around uh, and it's not just like we take this and bring it to another IP address, but we kill it completely and the clean version appears somewhere else.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of the base product. Um, and then there is the AI version of it, where we do it with yeah, mostly workloads that are much bigger, that are using GPUs. So that's giving that's solving a lot of other hard problems. So and then we have a third one, which is called ADA. Actually, just produced a research paper on it a couple of weeks ago
Mhm.
at Cornell University. That's, I would say, we are still in a phase where we are dealing with design partners in that, because it's like super cool, right? So what we're doing there is, so you're familiar with the agentic AI, right? That's a big buzzword now, and the industry is trying to do it, uh, to do the security part of that with let's say on the protocol level. So basically cryptographic hashes and so on and so on. MCP is one of them. A2A is one of them. And we showed the scientific community that with orchestration, you can actually solve the same problem, and it's not just so it's not a replacement, but basically like MCP plus us or A2A plus us. That's like not a 2x, but more like a 20x efficiency in terms of defenses. And yeah, so very much uh, um, I'm not saying it's in a research phase. It's more like in the POC phases
Yep.
yet. And this is going to be big, but again, people say that especially in AI. So like we are preparing for the future, but most of the companies they don't even have budget for agentic AI yet.
Mm.
I mean, the security part at least.
Yeah. Got you. Very exciting. In terms of like your career and getting into security so long ago, how has it evolved like from even just in the last 10 years in the space? Like how have you seen it evolve?
You mean my career or the industry?
Just in the how have you seen the industry evolve through your career?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it got super noisy, especially in the last 5 6 years. So I mean, probably everybody's aware that there are like more than 4,000 security vendors right now, and people keep saying that consolidation is coming, and it's not here yet. Um, there are some, giants who basically keep a grasp on the market. Uh, they're pushing their platforms and stuff like that, which is not good for point solutions. But yeah, a lot of interesting categories I've seen emerging and some dying as well. So
Mm. Yeah.
so we still don't know what's we still don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, because now it's actually like super fast. So
Mm.
we are going full throttle towards we don't know what.
Yeah, yeah. What about AI right now? Like what's your take right now on it all?
Well, it depends. So I'm an optimist, so like sooner or later we'll get there to have AGI or ASI. But right now for like I don't know coding and not even security, we are definitely not there. But the whole thing, especially the commercial part, started a couple of years ago, right? So so I think we are living in an interesting time, and we have to be resourceful to figure out how to govern AI because it's already much smarter than most of my most of my mates who I grew up with,
Yeah.
and that's I mean the tendency is like if it's gonna be much smarter than you know any human in anything, then it's gonna be either a good thing like paradise, or we go down to hell
Yeah.
directly
Yeah.
and fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, what's the future for R6? So,
Um, yeah, we are growing, so the team has doubled over the last couple of months, and signing up more customers mostly in the AI space, and we are about to release the Kubernetes part, maybe with the freemium model as well, so that the small companies can benefit out of it because our sweet spot is definitely not the small companies. So like
Mhm.
customer wise, we are dealing with 1,000 plus
Yeah.
GPUs and so on per customer, or sometimes more. And we cannot really do it economically for like
Mm.
customers with 5, 6 GPUs. So we are trying to be more available, and that's part of the process of evangelizing the whole thing because probably most of our listeners didn't even hear about this
Mhm.
before, so like
Yeah. Yeah.
AMTD as a category.
So I know we're on the hour now. So really appreciate you jumping on. Looking forward to seeing you at Black Hat for some more beers and conversation. And I
Definitely.
wish you all the best of success, my man.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's show, please like and share with your friends and colleagues as this is really important for the show's reach. If you'd like to be our next guest or are interested in Aspiron Search's staffing solutions, please get in touch directly with me or reach out to us via our website www.aspironsearch.com.